President Tinubu appeals for civility in Edo election. Nigeria plus Nigeria Education Loan Fund disburses 280 million naira to 12,000 students in Nasarawa State. This and more on Panorama. My name is Musa Abubakar. As electorate in Edo State prepare to elect a new governor this Saturday, President Bola Tinubu has called on all stakeholders in the upcoming Edo State governorship elections to conduct themselves peacefully and sportingly. In a statement by the Presidential Advisor on Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga, the President implores the governorship candidate, political parties and supporters to respect the democratic process and the people's will. President Tinubu expresses belief in the voters' ability to make informed decisions about their future leaders, while emphasizing that democracy thrives on civility, tolerance, patience, and respect for the rules of the game. He notes that the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has committed to conducting a free and fair election and urges all stakeholders to work together to ensure a successful and peaceful process. The President commends the governorship candidates and political parties for their campaigns, which have focused on issues that matter most to the people of Edo State, including improving livelihoods, promoting economic growth, and contributing to national development. President Tinubu also expresses unwavering confidence in the professionalism and integrity of security agencies and INEC officials, urging them to remain impartial and avoid any actions that could compromise the integrity of the electoral process. The federal government is reaching out through the Ministry of Environment with relief materials and aid for those affected by flood in Maiduguri. Mina Daniels reports.
Visit of the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and that of the Honorable Minister of Environment for an on-the-spot assessment to Borno State has yielded positive results. The Minister of State for Environment, Dr. Isiaq Adekunle Salako, in a press conference, commiserated with victims of the flood and expressed the desire of the ministry to identify with their trying period through environmental health interventions.
As a result of the visit by Mr. President and the visit by the Minister, a team consisting representative of the Environmental Health Council of Nigeria, Department of Pollution Control, the Environmental Health Department, Department of Flood, Erosion and Coastal Soil Management, and the National Park Service has been put together and will be heading to Maiduguri to perform several post-flooding services.
In furtherance of the ministry's key priorities, the ministry has mobilized technical and material support to the government and people of Borno State. In Abuja, Mina Daniels, NTA News.
The House of Representatives is to engage the Minister of Education on how to strengthen the federal character principles in the recruitment process and addressing infrastructure gap in federal universities. This re-echoed during the visit of the Committee on University Education to Bayero University, Kano, and others in the Northwest National Assembly. Correspondent Muhammad Rabiu Ali reports.
Violation of the revenue streams to the Federation account and case of domineering in the recruitment process remain the source of concern in most of the federal universities.
And we have the details of those various infrastructural projects where you spent over 1 billion.
The institution did not provide the breakdown of the overhead costs for the meaningful appraisal. So please, you have to work on that.
When are you planning to do your next recruitment? I saw the last recruitment, which to me, it didn't follow the federal character.
After all these service charges, it is now what is known from that is considered as a revenue, and it is from that is actually deducted the remittance to the federal government. So this is an issue that we are always battling with, that definitely most of what is accrued is spent almost exhausted before the end of the session.
The interface between the committee and management of the Federal University Dusima, Kaduna State, was put off due to the absence of the Vice-Chancellor. The oversight engagement at ABU Zaria was also cut short.
The interface is called off, and the management of ABU hereby summoned to appear before the committee at a date to be announced later.
The oversight visit also took members to the newly upgraded Federal Colleges of Education in Zaria and Kano. The new management were told to follow due process in recruitment and internally generated revenue spendings. Muhammad Rabiu Ali, NTA News.
Now, in a bid to increase access to higher education in the country, the Nigeria Education Loan Fund, NELFund, has disbursed 280 million naira to 12,000 students across tertiary institutions in Nasarawa State. At a symbolic presentation of checks in Lafia, the managing director, NELFund, Akintunde Soya, says the loans are categorized into institution charges and upkeep allowances.
Nigeria Education Loan Fund, NELFund, is established by the federal government to break financial barriers in higher education through the provision of interest-free loans for students. Managing Director, NELFund, Akintunde Soya, says the initiative will reshape the educational landscape and ensure no Nigeria student is deprived access to higher education due to financial constraints.
Our mission is to make quality education accessible to all, and in doing so, empower the future leaders of our nation.
This Renewed Hope initiative has stood as a beacon of hope for students across Nigeria, embodying the promise that no dream should remain unfulfilled due to financial constraints.
Nasarawa State Deputy Governor Dr. Emmanuel Akabe applauds federal government's commitment to human capital development and making education a pillar for national development.
We must take advantage of it as a people and as a state. And for those of us who are here, take the message back home.
Tasks the beneficiaries to make judicious use of the fund to pursue their academic aspirations. In Lafia, Ayena J. Auta, NTA News.
To achieve a viral education system, its policies must be comprehensively reviewed to promote inclusion of technology as a channel operation. This is coming from a university lecturer with Department of Education, National Open University of Nigeria, Professor Samuel Ogunwale, at the university's 28th inaugural lecture. Speaking on educational administration and technology, a marriage of inconvenience, the Don says that seeking for opportunities is the explication of the inconvenience of the education system that has refused to change with the technological evolution of the present society.
I'm not a charity also as evidence of quality educational administration. But some educational administrators find it difficult to cope with the use of this technology. They still stick to the traditional way.
Putting us into the dilemma of an inconvenient marriage shows that the inconvenience will give way to convenience.
The professor is of the view that the concerns for infrastructure, training and financial motivation must be considered to facilitate the engagement of education administrators with technology. The federal government is deploying solar mini-grid to underserved security formations across the country to ensure uninterrupted power supply to critical national security assets. Joshua Jito reports.
Reliable power supply, the Nigeria Immigration Service believes, is critical to its operations on digitization, border security and data protection, and the Controller General of the service seeks support of Rural Electrification Agency to connect its control centers with solar mini-grids for efficient service delivery.
Safety of that data, protection of that data, our energy source is critical. It's very, very important.
So far, the Nigerian military, the police and customs service benefited from solar mini-grid solutions, and the managing director of Rural Electrification Agency, Abba Aliyu, says Nigeria Immigration Service will not be left out.
Deployed about 156 mini-grid, working in 15 universities and 30 teaching hospitals. We also provided 100 intervention 100 federal secondary and primary health institutions across the country, where we provided 50 kilowatt containerized mini-grid in such health institutions.
Joshua Ojito, NTA News.
It's now time to pause for some messages. Panorama continues after the break. You're watching Panorama on the network service of the NTA. Stakeholders are the training on One Health risk communication and National Action Plan on health security, advocating strategic collaboration of medical professionals against all forms of infectious diseases that jump from animal to humans in Nigeria. Muazza Hassan reports from Bauchi.
This medical expert forum is aimed at mitigating the contamination effect of such diseases to humans and environment.
From the various local governments across the state, about 20 local governments. Each local government have a representative of 4 participants.
So none of the parties should be shortchanged. And I think that is what the concept of One Health is all about.
The forum is targeted at providing strategic, dynamic and functional process of advancing the One Health approach in Nigeria. In Bauchi, Muaz Hassan, NTA News.
And now to judicial matters, the Court of Appeal in Abuja has granted the request of the federal government and former Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Walter Onoge, to settle out of court an appeal challenging his removal as the Chief Justice of Nigeria. Austin Aibe reports.
The decision of the appellate court followed an information to the effect that the 2 parties in the suit have intensified efforts to reach an amicable settlement of all issues in dispute. Former President Muhammadu Buhari had in 2019 removed Onogen as the Chief Justice of Nigeria during the pendency of a charge against him at the Code of Conduct Tribunal. However, Thursday's proceeding in the appeal, lead counsel to the former CJN, Ogu James Onoja, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, informed a 3-man panel of justices of the appeal court that the 2 parties are already having discussions on a peaceful resolution of the dispute. Onoja, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, informed the court that the parties had an engagement till September 18, 2024, and expressed optimism that the discussion will be fruitful. He appealed to the court for a 1-month adjournment for final settlement of the issues in dispute. Federal government lawyer Tijani Ghazali, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, corroborated the submission of Onoja and requested that the matter be shifted forward for a possible amicable settlement. Justice J. Oyewole, who presided over proceedings, directed them to file terms of settlement for adoption when eventually agreed upon. He subsequently fixed November 4, 2024 as the return date for the 2 parties. Justice Onogem was prosecuted in 2019 by the federal government on alleged false declaration of assets at the Code of Conduct Tribunal, found guilty and removed from office. From the Court of Appeal, Abuja, Austin Anyebe, NTA News.
The Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, ICPC, vows to ensure compliance to Supreme Court judgments on the local government autonomy to promote rule of law and good governance in the country. The chairman of the commission, Dr. Musa Adamu Aliu, stated this while interacting with members of the National Anti-Corruption Coalition as part of the commission's move to review its policy thrust of fighting corruption. Experts emphasize on prevention, the need to embrace technology, and equally build a system that will discourage corruption practices by promoting the rule of law.
Who think they can make mockery of our Supreme Court, they should have a second thought. The decision of the Supreme Court is final and binding. All persons and authorities in this country must take steps to enforce that decision. And as chairman of ICPC, I will lead from the front. I will lead from the front on this issue. No matter where we are going, I will lead. I will take the bullet.
We have to go back and deploy the need for the use of AI in terms of fighting against corruption, in terms of, data analysis and what have you.
So the good news is that there's going to be some new policies that will come up, and these policies are tailored towards preventing corruption.
It is a vowed determination to bring compressed natural gas vehicle conversion centers and kits closer to the people. The presidential initiative on CNG has commenced dispatching of conversion kits to states across the country. Bolaji Akim completes the story.
The compressed natural gas CNG kit includes cylinders meant for the conversion of 6, 4 and 8 cylinder vehicles, valves, regulators, switching system and injectors. Distribution of these kits to the centers nationwide is to encourage vehicle owners convert from the use of petrol to CNG.
Devices are safe, they are simple enough, and they are going to help you reduce your costs. Standard is very important to us, safety is very important to us, quality is very important to us.
We need to know the present condition of every vehicle you want to convert, so that you can know whether there is going to be any correction.
The conversion awareness is a sensitive program of the PICNG. It is expected to take about 10,000 vehicles in the first tranche. In Lagos, Bolaji Akim, NTA News.
Now, in a significant crackdown on smuggling, the Nigerian Customs Joint Border Patrol Team, Sector 4, Northwest Zone, has seized a trailer load of equine bones valued at 186 million naira between April and September. This accomplishment underscores the team's unwavering commitment to combating illicit trade and safeguarding national interests. Suleiman Kodogi reports.
It's no longer news that the Joint Border Patrol security exercise is improving on the revenue profile of the country and enhancing national security, smuggling of drugs, and proliferation of small arms and light weapons. It is in line with this that the Task Force Sector 4 Northwest Zone has continued to record successes in its operations, such as the recent seizure of a trailer loaded with equine bones, 67 bags of NPK fertilizer illegally smuggled without proper certification. Other items seized are 3 Toyota Hilux vans, 50 jerrycans of vegetable oils, cartons of foreign spaghetti, and drugs.
Sector 4 has been actively combating smuggling activities along the land borders in the northwestern states. These states have been plagued by insecurity and smuggling, which poses threat to national security and the economy. In light of these challenges, our gallant officers have successfully intercepted numerous items that were intended to be smuggled in and out of the country at various locations and times.
Controller Aminum Abubakar further reveals that about 100 migrants were refused entry, while 3 victims of human trafficking were rescued.
We are handing over this arrested Sabita cannabis to those who are actually supposed to have handled it.
This is a display of interagency cooperation
that is encouraged among all security agencies. And we are very much grateful for this.
He then appeals to media practitioners to raise awareness on the dangers of smuggling to national security. In Katsina, Suleiman Kodogi, NTA News.
Up next is Sports Update with Olumide Guntola.
Nigeria's Super Eagles is looking forward to continue their good runs in the 2025 AFCON qualifier with a double header against Libya next month. Although the search for the team's head is still on, there are indications that Bruno Labbadia will lead the Eagles after the German coach posted on his social media handle, "New chapter," accompanied by the Nigerian flag. He was to have led the Super Eagles in the 2025 AFCON qualifiers against Benin Republic and Rwanda before NFF announced the breakdown of agreements over who will be responsible for the payment of taxes in Nigeria and Germany. In the CAF Confederations Cup, Nigeria's representative, Enyimba Football Club of Aba, is targeting victory against Etoile Filante of Burkina Faso on Sunday in Uyo. Enyimba got an away point in the first leg encounter that ended goalless and will be relying on improved tactics and home support to silence the visitors. In the Nigerian Premier League, hostilities continue this weekend across different stadia in the country. Lobby Stars will be at home against Rivers United, Atlant is up against Katsina United, Abia Warriors will be the guests of Sunshine Stars in Akure, Kano Pillars will trade tackles with Remo Stars, White Brothers will be at Sporting War as Kwara United welcomes Ikorodu United. In the foreign scene, Nigeria's George Eleniken has scored for the second consecutive game against Barcelona as he netted the winning goal for AS Monaco in a 2-1 win over the Spanish Giants in the UEFA Champions League fixtures played Thursday night. George is now the youngest player to score for Monaco in the Champions League, overtaking Kylian Mbappe 2017 record. And in boxing, Nigeria's Anthony Joshua will attempt to become 3-time heavyweight champion on Saturday as he takes on Daniel Dubois for the IBF World Heavyweight Boxing title at Wembley. With Sports Update, Olumide Eguntola, NTA News.
Now that concludes Panorama. Thanks for watching. I am Musa Abubakar.